Going to continue our tour of the businesses of downtown Greenville here today on the Wave Channel 5. As we come down to, well, it's called the traffic circle, but really it's called the public square. So we're down by the post office and at Countryside Bike Shop, and with the owner here, Bob Bitner. And Bob, let's talk just a little bit. How long have you been in this location, and how long have you had the business open?
We've been here about 4.5 years. We tried to start it at our home, so we were there a couple years. Nobody could find us. So we've been here about 4.5 years.
Yeah, you certainly have a prominent location right here. There's a lot of traffic that goes by. Let's talk just a little bit about your background, and then what inspired you to kind of get into this business, because I know you've had a varied background, correct?
Well, yeah. I when I grow up, I'll figure out what I want to do. But no, I've been in construction and things. I was in the ministry. I'm an ordained minister for about 15, 20 years, and we started repairing bicycles. It was donated to us and giving them away, and kind of got into that. Took some classes on bicycle stuff to help out that situation, and then figured out that our retirement wasn't going to be that good. We needed something to supplement that, and so decided to try to start a repair shop and stuff in our home. Did that for a couple years, didn't work well, found this location, and then moved here about 4.5 years ago.
Well, had you been involved in biking from the time you were a kid on up? Did you ride a bike, or you say you started repairing bikes? That's part of the ministry, if I'm not mistaken,
right.
Correct?
Right. But no, I did not. There was, I mean, as a kid, as all kids, I rode a bike, but really didn't start riding anything seriously until I was probably in my 40s, and fell in love with it. Just kind of kept upgrading my bike to a better road bike and better road bike. Had a couple accidents in that time, which meant I had to buy a new bike. And so, yeah, just kind of fell in love with biking. And then when we started this, went out to Colorado Springs for 3 weeks for bike mechanic school to get more training. And so it's just kind of evolved into what it is today.
Well, that's interesting how you got involved in that. So you've gone from like the basic Schwinn and Huffy and seen the different bikes come and go, and a lot of evolution in bikes over the years, correct?
Right. Yeah, we have in stock some of the latest stuff in electronic shifting from Shimano. It's been out for about 6 or 7 years to the pros. Public has had it for about 4 or 5 years, where you have a battery and a little electric motor on your derailleurs that does the shifting for you instead of cables, to where we're getting into electric assist bikes. Still have chains, still have pedals and all that stuff. You still have to do some work, but the technology has evolved into full carbon frames, bicycles that weigh 12, 14 pounds, to all kinds of things.
Well, before we take a look at all the different bikes you have here and talk about bikes in general and then the service aspect of it and accessories and so forth, how did you happen to decide here on a downtown location?
Well, it was kind of an accident. But right before the horse parade, about 4.5 years ago, they were trying to get people in buildings and stuff. And at that time, it was Amber Smurgy. But we'd been talking with her about something completely different. But this building was empty. She asked if we might be interested in trying to come into this building for just a trial period. I had talked to the landlord, was interested in it because of the location and things. We worked out a deal, tried it for 6 weeks, and decided to stay. It was a good location, we thought, and the pricing was fair and everything, and so that's kind of how we ended up down here.
Yeah, well, you got a tremendous amount of traffic flow around there, so it is a good location that way. Well, I'll tell you what, let's start over here and take a look. So I bring, say, a grandson or something in for their first bike. What do we need to look at? And Nick, maybe we can swing the camera around here, and Bob and I'll walk over here and let's take a look. Okay. These look like like kids' bikes, right?
We do have kids' bikes. We don't stock a lot of children's bikes or kids' bikes. We do have some. This is a BMX type bike here. This one is more of a mountain bike. It has gearing on it and stuff. And then this is would be more of a beginner's bike with the training wheels, 16-inch tires, and that type of thing. So we do have people that bought kids' bikes, and then if they outgrow them, they can trade them back in for a bigger bike. We will take their bike. Anybody buys a bike from us and they want to upgrade, we will take their bike in as a trade-in. So we have had people that started out with this and then just kept kind of upgrading as a child, outgrew that bike into a bigger one.
Yeah. Now, like all your lines of bikes all the way up, what you don't stock, you can order in, correct?
What we don't have in stock, and there's no way we can stock everything.
Right.
So because there's so many different sizes of each model, that what we don't have in stock, we can order in, and we do order in, and for the most part, we can have within just a few days or a week.
Okay. Now, like a typical beginner's bike here, what size tires do they, I mean, you know, they go 30-inch, 32, but these are what size here with the training wheels?
Okay, with the training wheels, these are 16s. They'll go 12, 16, 20, and then up to 24. Usually don't have training wheels, but 12, 16, and 20 usually do. They also have bikes out now that have no pedals on them. And the whole idea is that a child will learn to ride a bike quicker by using their feet to propel them.
Okay.
They'll learn to balance quicker than with the training wheels. And so while we don't have those in stock, they do have, those are 12-inch, and they're for small kids to push with their feet and stuff.
Yeah, one of my grandsons has a bike like that without the pedals. We looked at it, and I thought, something's missing here, and then I realized they were pedaling, it looked like Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble. Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
and most kids then, they have the thicker tires. Do a lot of kids use the dirt bikes, and then do they still have banana seats? I remember banana seats used to be big.
We can still get banana seats.
Really?
We don't have Raleigh and the brands we carry do not have the old banana seat type bikes, but we still can get banana seats. We still repair bikes and put new banana seats on them and that type of thing. They're still available.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So we started with this. Now let's go. We'll come back to some of these others. Now we get into like kids are starting to become like 4th, 5th graders or up through young adults or anybody like that. What's a basic bike that you kind of start with then? Let's take a look at some of these.
Okay, for kids, I don't have any in stock right now, but something like in a 24-inch, something like this bike is kind of like more of a mountain bike type frame. Kids like that. Something that has suspension on the front fork that they can get off of blacktop and go out and ride through the mud and the hills and dirt and stuff like that is what they seem to like the most. And yeah, we do normally have those in stock. We're just out of them right now, but yeah.
Now there's still girls' bikes, boys' bikes, correct? Or not?
Yeah.
It used to be, I mean, all the time, yeah.
There are what they call girls' bikes, boys' bikes, step-throughs, unisex, men's, women's. They're all different kinds, sizes, and shapes, and size is so important. I mean, we are really big on making sure that the bike is the right size for the person.
Yeah, we're going to come back in a little bit and take a look at a outfit over here that Bob measures people on, tests them and everything, kind of fits a bike custom made to their size and their flexibility and everything. What would you say an average bike right now, say somebody says, oh, I just want to ride it around the neighborhood, thin tire, I mean, we got all sorts of tires. So what's a typical adult bike size tire? What was it, 30, 32 inch? Am I just throwing numbers out or what?
Typically right now, most of the bikes are running what they call 700 millimeter. 700 millimeters is a European measurement. It's close to a 27 inch, but not quite. Okay. It's enough difference that we cannot swap out tires. But 700 millimeters, the larger the diameter, the easier the rollability is of the bike and the tire. Means the easier it is to pedal. So you get more enjoyment with not having to work so hard. And then you have all different kinds of widths of tires. The bike right here, this is a 700 wheel with what's called 700 by 25C. 25 is the width of the tire. And most racing bikes will run a 20 or 23 C tire, which is a little bit narrower than this. And then they go up as far as 700 by 40, which is quite a bit.
Almost twice as wide.
Yeah. For trail riding, whether it be off trail or blacktop trails, we're getting more and more blacktop trails around, and so a lot of trail riding people want a little bit wider tire. Don't need it for the speed and the distance.
Have you noticed then with rails to trails, I know the Darke County Park District's done a great job on converting abandoned railroad beds into trails, and Ohio's big on that, correct? Have you noticed more people then starting to pursue that kind of activity?
Yes, probably, I don't know the percentage, 75, 80% of the people come in. One of the first questions we ask, if they're interested in a bike, is what kind of riding do you want to do? 75 to 80%, I'm guessing, of the people say, we want to ride trails. And I say, are you talking about mountain trails, single track, off-road? No, we're talking about blacktop trails. And the Miami Valley has the largest network of paved trails in the United States. Around Xenia, Dayton, Piqua, Troy, Tip City, all through that. We're getting, the Park District is getting more trails here in Darke County, and so that is becoming a big deal.
Yeah, and that's just a safe way to put some miles in without having to worry about somebody coming along and clipping you from behind. Yeah, I think that's great. So if somebody comes in and says, hey, Bob, I'm going to do the trails, the blacktop trails, or I want a bike I can just ride around town. Most of the bikes then have what, a little thicker tire, and what gears would you recommend for somebody just riding around town? 3-speed, 10-speed? Do they even make that stuff anymore or not?
Yeah, we can get anything from 3-speed to, and it's really kind of the old like 10-speed type language is not quite accurate in that 10 speeds had 5 gears in the back and 2 in the front. Okay. Now we have some bikes that have 3 gears in the front and 9 gears in the back. Okay. I don't like talking about that, saying that's a 27 speed, because it's not exactly a 27 speed. You have 3 different ranges of 9 gears. Okay. So, but to cruise around town without a lot of hills and stuff, we have bikes that have 7 gears in the back, 1 in the front. Those work very, very well. And then if you want to go more distance, you want more options for different gearing, well, then you can go to more gears in the front, and gives you a larger range of gearing. But yeah, anywhere from 7 on up to 8 or 9, 10 gears in the back is a good option. Okay.
Now, these are Raleigh bikes. I mean, we've got it over here, and that's, I suppose, is your main dealer now. Huffy Schwinn. Now, Huffy used to be up at Salina. Are they still there or not?
No, Huffy is not at Salina. All of your major bike brands have moved out of the United States. Okay. There's only one major bike brand. Now, there's still some small individual bike brands. We're also a dealer for Co-Motion tandem bikes. They're made in Eugene, Oregon. And they're all assembled, built, made here in the United States. But all of your major bike brands have moved out of the United States. One major bike brand does still build their own frames of anything over $6,000 in a bike. Anything under $6,000 is made overseas.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I thought that was I wanted to lead into that. I thought that's kind of how it was. Well, hey, we're going to pause here for just a second, move around a little bit, and take a look at some other bikes, and then go back in the repair area, and then we're going to come back up and take a look at this bike that he measures people on for custom fit bikes, as well as some things the bicycle built for two, and the recumbent bikes and things of that nature. I guess the main question I want to ask Bob is, can I still put baseball cards in my spokes so as I go down the road it'll flip?
You can.
We can. Okay, we'll be back in just a minute here. You're watching in our town here on the Wave Channel 5. Back here at Countryside Bike Shop, Alex Warner along with our videographer Nick Schmidt, and now we're going to talk to the brains behind the outfit here in this store, and this is Diane Bitner, Bob's wife. And Diane, let's talk a little bit about some of the accessories you offer, and I understand you're kind of the one that's in charge of the accessories and so forth. So let's talk about what you have in addition. Bob has the bikes and the repair part. Let's talk about the accessories.
Okay. We try to stock as much as we can, and we stock helmets, which we really push our customers to wear. That's, if you buy a bike, we encourage you to buy a helmet.
These are really, of course, these are real lightweight and everything. They have to conform to certain standards within the industry, I assume, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. And we try to help, fit them to make sure they fit proper. And we have kids as well as the adults. And we don't carry everything, but if we've got some real light ones for the riders who ride the distance, who wants as much light and comfort as they can. So
The one thing I always worried about helmets, though, what's it do to my hair? Am I going to get like hat head or something like that? Or
helmet hair,
helmet.
yeah.
That's what,
And-
I don't have a lot to worry about anymore. But still.
And a lot of women really, don't want them, but we really push it.
Yeah.
It's better to have helmet hair than a brain that's not.
Yeah, not functioning. Yeah, and then I see you carry shoes. Now, I see these guys that are really into it, and of course they've got their shoes, and then these kind of clip on somehow, right, onto the pedals?
These are just, these shoes don't have the clips on yet, and depending on your pedal, depends on what kind of clip you have on the bottom of your shoe. So most of them is pretty light,
Right.
which is everything you want is. The long distance riders wants everything as light as they can, and we carry for men and women both.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've just started carrying the shoes.
Okay.
So
Now, let's talk about something that I've never quite understood is the spandex and everything. I mean, the idea is just to eliminate chafing inside the thighs if you're riding long distances?
I'm sorry. They have a padding on the inside. And
Male and female, I mean, and they're different styles for different, yeah.
it's a padding that helps
Ah,
the comfort of your
yeah.
butt.
Okay. That's the only way you can say that, right? Well, and then, yeah. Now, and then you've also got, I mean, you have shirts around here too. You see a lot of these riders out there. I got to look like NASCAR drivers out there. They've got like sponsorships and they got decals all over the place. You carry those around here someplace?
We don't have any right now, but we do carry some jerseys. We are hoping to get our own jersey this spring. We've had a lot of people ask for them, and so we just don't carry a lot of the jerseys. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of swing around here because you've got all sorts of things. So Nick will kind of walk the camera around here. I see these baskets on the wall. I think of my mom's old bike. You still have like the little bells and stuff that you ding. And
Yep, up here on the wall we have bells and the horns, and at the top there we have the
like carriers or something. What do you call those? That goes on the back over the back tire, correct?
Right. So some of the baskets hook onto those, and some of our bags that our bigger bags will slip on them too. But yeah, we try to carry, and then we have the if you get a flat,
Got the pump.
we have some of them is done by the good old hand pump, and then some of them's with cartridges that you can blow the tires up.
And then let's take a look here. I see the ones that are really into riding and so forth. I see the riding gloves. Then you got all sorts of gloves for that, correct?
Right, and they're padded. Some of them's padded more, some of them's less. Depends on the rider. It does help with the strain of your hand, and so yeah, they're almost even your riders who don't ride long distance a lot of times wear them too. So yeah.
Okay. And then do you carry, I'm just kind of looking through here, all sorts of different kind of seats, different style of seats, and pedals it looks like, and what all we have here. Also, do you carry like bottles, people carry their water in? Yep, I'm looking right down.
Yeah.
You got it all.
And the holders. We have the computers for the, if you want to keep track of the distance or your cadence.
That'd
and
be like one of these things here.
Right. So,
Yeah, okay. So you're really starting to go big time. You don't use this just to ride around town, right? You good?
People just are anxious or kind of curious of how far they've rode, and it keeps track of that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So a little bit of everything here then. Do you also carry in any sort of manner like the nutrition bars or that kind of stuff that a lot of them use?
Yeah, we have the gels, and we will be getting some more of the bars in.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are energy gels, huh?
Right. Yeah.
Says here, more energy faster, extends endurance, and speeds muscle recovery. Hey, that's the big three right there as far as biking, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's important, if you feel like you're starting to kind of wear out or whatever, you take a shot of that, and that gives you some energy, and yeah.
Okay, so a lot of accessories for you folks up here at Countryside Bike Shop. So if you're starting to get into biking or you've been into it and need anything, get up here and see Diane. She's got it all here. What we're going to do then is we're going to swing the camera around a little bit. We're going to take a look at the service area back here because this is a full service shop, correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And we'll talk to Bob about that. So Nick, let's swing it around and we'll come back in here and take a look at Bob's area. Gosh, I look like I'm in a garage or something here. We got the hose coming down from everything. You got to stand so you're not hurting your back. Being a chiropractor, we'll make sure he keeps his back in good shape. So you bring it up to where you don't have to bend over, correct? Right. What do we have here right now that you're working on?
This is a new trike. This is a recumbent trike. I'm assembling it. All of our bikes come in boxed up, unassembled. We have to assemble them.
That's my worst nightmare. Like putting kids' toys together and stuff on Christmas Eve after they've gone to bed. And you do it for a living, right? Oh, man.
Yeah, this is one that we're assembling. A woman had bought recumbent last year and wasn't comfortable with it, and so wanted to go to the three-wheel trike. And so we received this a couple days ago, and I'm assembling it for her. She'll pick it up probably today or tomorrow.
Okay, great. And you just got a wide variety of tools and everything. Do things come in millimeters, or are they standard inches? I mean, your wrenches and all your tools. What are those?
Most of bike components are millimeters.
And metric.
Metric. Most of our bike components come metric, and so most of our tools have to be metric. There's some specialized tools only for bicycles. Pedals, for example, have an odd thread on them, so the taps and things like that make threads are an odd size. So some things are bicycle only tools, others are just plain old wrenches.
Now we're filming this show on February 20th, so of course we're in the middle of the winter here, and boy, it's been some winter the last week or two. But a lot of repairs and tune-ups right now this time of year. People bring their bikes in so that they're ready to go when the weather finally breaks.
Right now we're running a special on tune-ups for a couple reasons. One of them is because January and February we're not very busy, but the other thing is to get people to come in earlier to bring their bikes in for tune-ups so they're ready for spring, because we really get bombarded and can get 2 to 3 weeks behind when the weather breaks. And so
you pride yourself, just like I mentioned to Diane, you are a full-service bike shop then.
We are full service. We can work on any bike, any brand, any model. We do repairs, we do maintenance, service on any and everything.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to move from the repair section here. We're going to go back up front because I want to take a look at this bike that you custom outfit people with. And so we'll go back up there. So, again, you're watching our town series here from the Countryside Bike Shop here on the Wave, Channel 5. We'll be back in just a moment. Back here on the traffic circle at Countryside Bike Shop. And, Bob, let's take a look at what you have here. You said this is something you use for a beginner up through the person that's out there doing some heavy-duty riding.
Correct. Yeah, I'm qualified to do professional bike fitting. It's about a 3-hour process. And what we do is put their bike on what we call a trainer. It makes a stationary bike out of it. It gets resistance and stuff, same as if you're out on the road. But we put their bike on there. We set it up so everything is level because we take a lot of measurements and that type of thing. Fitting a bicycle to the person is super, super important in comfort and power and speed, but comfort mostly. If you have problems with your hands going to sleep and things like that, it can be that the bicycle doesn't fit you. And so this is a place where we work at that. We spend about 45 minutes with the person before we ever get them on the bike to check out their flexibility. Hamstrings and hip flexors are two important pieces in bicycle riding. In this how tight your hamstrings are make a difference on how you can set on the bicycle. Doesn't have to be a road bike like this. It can be a hybrid. It can be a mountain bike, be a triathlon bike. But we do basically go through the same thing with everybody. And once we know kind of what the flexibility is, and we look at kind of how the body is. We check a lot of history. Have you had injuries? There are things that that can affect your riding. Then we get you on the bike. We have tools that we can adjust the handlebars in all different places to find out where it's the most comfortable. We get the seat the right height, the right distance from the handlebars, and that type of thing. And so this is where we do all of that to try to make sure that the bike fits the person, and we don't try to make the person fit the bike.
Got it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, pretty. Well, that's a great service you provide. Now, is there a fee for that?
There is a fee for that.
Hey, 2 or 3 hours of work. Yeah, they should be.
There is a fee for that. We charge $100 a person to do that. The first session is 2 hours long, or takes approximately 2 hours to do that. And then we have you go out and ride the bike for a couple weeks or a month, come back in, we tweak anything, readjust stuff that you find it's not quite right, this type of thing. You was talking about the shoes and the pedals that clip into the bicycle to hold your foot on the pedal. We also check the position of that cleat on your shoe to make sure that that's the right place so that you can unclip easily without any danger of falling in that.
We're just fitting the bike to the person.
Fitting the bike to the person is what we're doing.
That makes sense. Well, it's a neat little service you got here. As we kind of wrap things up here, we wanted to talk about that. And then let's talk about a couple, almost, I'd call them, I don't know if they're specialty items or not, but let's talk about this trailer back here, how this all works. 'Cause, you see some of these around town every now and then again, right?
Yeah, this is, and there are a lot of different models out there. This is simply a trailer you can pull behind your bike to haul children in. This particular one, you can haul one or two. It will carry up to 80 pounds, so you can have two children of 40 pounds,
right,
or one. Now this particular one, if you have one child, the harness fits so they can sit right in the middle of the trailer and still have like a seat belt on. Or if you have two, they can sit on either side. Some trailers, you don't have that middle option, and so all the weight is kind of on one side of the trailer or the other one.
Now, it looks like this shade pulls forward then, or if I unlatched it, that gives like some cover from sun and so forth, like
Come
sunscreen.
all the way down. It also has a rain cover that goes with it that covers that whole thing up if it's raining or whatever. The wheels comes off of this, the tongue comes off, it'll fold up and go in the back of your car.
Oh, that's okay.
It'll break down and you can put it back together in about 2 minutes and hook it up to your bike.
Well, you're talking about folding this up and transporting it. Then you sell bike racks for the back of cars or vans?
We do. We have different models of bike racks. Some that the bikes hang on the rack. We have some that fit in on a trunk. We have some that fit in a trailer hitch on the back of the vehicle. Some that have pods on the rack where the tires or the wheels set down in, and there's a bracket that holds the bike upright.
Okay.
So yeah, we can
full service.
We can fit all of that.
Okay. Last thing we want to take a look at here is let's see if we can maybe take a look at one of these tandems or a bicycle built for two. Oh, you have a couple of them here.
Yeah,
you sell many of these? These
are tandems. We have sold some. This particular one right here, this gray one, is aluminum. It's one that we have worked on. We've actually allowed the owner to leave the bike in here. He has it for sale. Mm-hmm. He wants to sell it, and so we're in here just displaying it for him. The other one, the blue one, is a Co-Motion. We are also a dealer now for Co-Motion, which is new for us. This winter we became a dealer for Co-Motion. This is a bike that a customer has. They have ordered a new Co-Motion actually, and they have left this one in here right now because they come in on Saturday mornings. We have a group that comes in on Saturday mornings, put their bikes on these trainers. Oh. We put a DVD in the TV and work out in here for about an hour. And so this couple has just left their bike here because I did some tune up on it, and so they've left it here to work out on Saturday mornings and stuff. So, but yeah.
Well, great. Hey, let me ask you this question while I'm thinking about it. Well, first of all, Daisy, bicycle built for two, right? Wasn't it Daisy was on the bicycle built for two?
I don't know.
I think so. There's an old song someplace. Forgive me for that. Who does the most work on this bike? the person in front or the person in the back? Personally, I'd want to sit in the back seat because I kind of be, lazy. The person in front wouldn't know, right?
I am not a tandem rider.
Okay.
But from everything I can hear, if the person in the back slacks off, the person in the front knows it instantly.
Yeah,
because they can feel more tension on the pedals and more. Yeah, it gets harder. So
so you really can't coast in the back seat without the person in front knowing it.
you cannot coast without the person in the front knowing it. But
well, let's wrap things up here. Would you say that the popularity of biking's increased over the years since you've been in it? Because you've only been in it like, what, 7, 8 years, something like that?
we believe it has. And we believe it's going to increase even more. I mean that's kind of being optimistic, but at the same time, we can see some trends where there are more and more people want to exercise. Bicycling is good exercise as we get more and more trails available to ride on. And Miami Valley has the largest trail network in the United States. It becomes very easy to get out on a trail where it's safe to ride and things and get good exercise and see country and be outside. And so, yeah, it seems like that bicycling has become more and more popular.
Okay. Well, that's good news because it's also a real healthy activity, good physical activity for a lot of people. It doesn't put a lot of stress on their joints, too, as they get older. Well, this has been Bob Bitner, along with his wife, Diane, who's taking care of a customer back here. This has been Countryside Bike Shop. Open up here on the traffic circle by the post office, a full-service bike dealership, and we certainly hope you folks out there that are interested in biking have a chance to stop in and see what they have to offer. And Bob, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. Very interesting. I really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you. Thanks for doing this. Seriously.
Okay. Now, Nick and I are going to be moving down Broadway here in just a second. Our next stop is going to be the Ivy Cottage, Ivy Cottage down here on South Broadway. We'll be back in just a moment with that as you watch our town here on the Wave Channel 5.